Aging is a perfectly and obviously normal part of being a human. A person's looks do not determine someone's value, but it seems pretty coincidental that oftentimes people who openly hate don't age very well. It seems like all that stress doesn't do anyone any good, but hey, I don't want anyone thinking that just because people are ugly, they're evil. There's no correlation between looks and morals. In fact, you can be ugly and also very nice, but that's not what this list is about. People on this list are ugly and just happen to also be evil. Coming in at number 10 is Jonah Hill. Just last week, Jonah Hill was perceived as a funny guy in Hollywood, just taking part in films such as Superbad, Moneyball, and Don't Look Up. Now, Jonah's never been known for his looks, but his lovable goofball vibe has definitely taken a turn in recent years, looking less like a fun younger brother and more like a guy who follows you around a gas station convenience store. After a slew of manipulation and gaslighting allegations from his ex-girlfriend pro surfer Sarah Brady, his looks sure aren't helping his case. She officially called off their year-long relationship with the comedian in 2022, and the pair seemed relatively amicable and respectful towards one another, Brady coming along with Hill to the premiere of Don't Look Up. But the tides have taken a turn, with screenshots the surfer shared on an Instagram story earlier this week. Screenshots pictured text threads between the exes where Hill outlined what he calls his boundaries, and social media users have been quick to point out the misuse of the word, for it would be more accurate to call them demands. He tells her that if she needs to be surfing with men, modeling, posting pictures in bathing suits, or having friendships with, quote, unstable women, then a relationship with him is not something that would be in the cards for her. What people have pointed out is not only is Brady a professional surfer and model, which would mean his demands would be impossible without abandoning her career, and alongside his immature and unreasonable asks, more has come out about the guy in recent reports from former Nickelodeon actress and the career of Eat Predators movement, Alexa Nicholas, who revealed last night that Jonah forced himself on her when she was underage. It's not looking good for Jonah Hill right now. At number 9 is the Pirates of the Caribbean star Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp used to be a Hollywood heartthrob with good hair and a cute little face. However, now he resembles that of a pretentious hipster with an unbearable lack of swag these days. He looks like his dreams of becoming a magician just never came to fruition. It also does not help that he's also an awful dude. His co-stars have told stories about how working with Depp is incredibly volatile and explosive. The actor's bodyguards have even filed several lawsuits against the actor, including claims over unpaid wages, as well as working in a chaotic and dysfunctional environment, and not to mention his infamous divorce scandal with Amber Heard, now being known as one of the most public divorce cases in recent history, where he was proven guilty of domestic, physical, and verbal abuse. In one instance, reportedly coming home inebriated and violently shoving her to the floor. In another instance, Heard claimed that Depp threw a cell phone and struck her in the face. Depp's divorce attorney accused Heard of attempting to secure a premature financial resolution by alleging abuse. As well, there were many people who assumed that Heard was not the one being victimized in the situation, but instead had abused Depp herself. However, 2 months later, TMZ released a video secretly recorded by Heard on the night she alleged Depp struck her, giving definitive proof of his abuse. Partaking in abuse has never made anyone more attractive. Number 8, we've got Axl Rose. Axl Rose, best known for being the leading man in rock band Guns N' Roses, used to look, I'll admit it, pretty cool, albeit kind of irritating, but he had quite a look to him. Nowadays, the man looks less irritating and more scary, and has been made victim of some humidity. Men in their 60s can absolutely still be good looking, but not in Axl's case. The guy's looks aren't the most appalling thing about him, even if he does look a bit frog-like these days. What really does make me perceive him as unattractive are his charges of misconduct with a minor. Rose and his bandmate Slash were charged with statutory assault in 1985 when they were 23, which ended up with the victim leaving the men's house without clothes on. The rock star lifestyle sure is nuts, but nothing gives you the right to mess around with people who are far too young for you. Knowing this fact about him certainly doesn't make him look any better. Coming in at number 7 is Jared Leto. Jared Leto was a doe-eyed sweetheart who looked like a member of the Outsiders in his prime. However, the years of entitlement and arrogance have only made those eyes look a little soulless. Jared looks like a freak these days, and that title serves him well after what we've all heard about him on the set of The Joker, sending disgusting gifts to his co-stars under the facade of method acting, and that his character, the Joker, doesn't have an understanding of boundaries. A fan that met the actor gave a first-person account of Leto, saying that he's totally selfish, unappreciative of his fans, and generally just not a nice guy. Another person claimed to have served him in a shop once, and they explained that the actor was very standoffish and stared at them the whole time. Yeah, he's a pretty freaky dude. Coming in at number 6 is Mike Myers. Mike was never a great looking dude, but it seemed to play in his favor as he took comedic roles on Wayne's World and Austin Powers, but time doesn't seem to be doing anything good for Mike. And not only has time been unkind to his looks, but also his sense of humor and humility. Many co-stars and crew have coined him as a total diva. As much as his personality on screen may seem lighthearted and fun, Amy Hill, Mike's The Cat in the Hat co-star, revealed in an interview with the AV Club that working with the man was pretty miserable. Apparently he kept everyone waiting and even had someone feed him chocolates on set. Hill also claimed that Myers didn't like anyone looking at him on set, saying he had his handlers dress his trailer and his area was well covered with tenting because he didn't want anybody seeing him. Hill claimed of the actor, who also called him a little hermit, added, "It was so weird, it was just the worst." At number 5 is the former talk show host Ellen DeGeneres. Age has done more damage to Ellen DeGeneres' hubris than it has her looks. Although she was pretty cute back in her sitcom days and now posts pictures of her in strange positions playing pickleball, that wouldn't really matter to anyone or have anyone making fun of her on Twitter if she just hadn't been such an awful person. Throughout recent years, many stories have surfaced revealing that DeGeneres may as well be one of the most mean people in the industry. After podcast producer Kevin T. Porter posted to Twitter asking people to share their most insane stories regarding Ellen, he received an overwhelming amount of answers. One person responded that after she served DeGeneres brunch, the talk show host complained about their server's chipped nail polish, nearly costing the woman her job. Another said that many of the staff for the Ellen show weren't allowed to look Ellen in the eyes. She even went so far as to force Mariah Carey into spilling the beans of a pregnancy she wasn't ready to go public with. The Ellen show was cancelled 2 years ago, and no one really cares about her anymore. Coming in at number 4 is Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson used to look like a golden age Hollywood actor, a classic type of attractive you'd seen strewn across billboards or on the silver screen. Nowadays, he resembles a cousin of President Snow and is maybe attractive enough to be a famous cooking show host. In 2006, the actor-director's reputation was ruined when he was charged with a DUI. When the police arrested him, he took it upon himself to begin angrily ranting about all of the vulnerable communities he did not like, telling the officers such awful things as people of Jewish faith had caused all the world wars, and continued by calling the female cops sexist names. This was not Mel's first stint in sexism and misogynistic remarks, as in 1995 he said that he doesn't like feminists and that women and men are not equal. Come on, Mel. At number 3 is Hailey Bieber's husband, Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was the center of everyone's attention since he made his way onto the scene in the early 2000s, being the poster boy for preteen crushes around the world. Once best known for his iconic hairstyle, these days he's more known for his greasy hair, unnerving mustache, and awful attitude. The once widely held parasocial boyfriend has been reported using racial slurs, spitting on fans, and driving under the influence. Throughout the years, he's done his best to clean up his act, and yet somehow his bad reputation seems to follow him around. I don't think there's enough damage control to clear his name for good. He should just lean into the boring, menace Canadian hockey player look, which is honestly what he's been doing for years. Our runner-up on this list goes to Ben Stiller. Now, Ben Stiller used to pass for an eccentric Jonas brother, but now he looks like a guy who stays in his house trying to figure out conspiracy theories, which seems like a natural evolution, and hey, that's not always a bad look if I'm being honest. Ben is best known for his iconic yet neurotic roles, such as Zoolander and the guy from Night at the Museum, but many of his co-stars and crew have been known to say that he is completely different in real life, not funny or interesting. In fact, many are saying that there's no funny bone in his body, and to add insult to injury, he's said to be egotistical and unreasonable. On the set of Meet the Fockers, he earned himself an unfortunate nickname, and it was noted that the actor wasn't happy unless he was waited on by everyone around him, getting upset if he didn't get everything that he wanted. The actor would throw tantrums over little things and wouldn't give them up until he got his way. Now, our number 1 spot on this list goes to Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan used to be a Timothy Chalamet type, looking like a little elven boy, like he'd be some sort of forest dweller. It's no surprise that that look doesn't stick around for much longer. Your youth is what makes most people look like magical little creatures, so he certainly doesn't look like he'd partake in a tap dance amongst the willow tree branches anymore. Instead, he kinda just looks like a director of art films you'd only watch once in a Film 100 class, and that's fine. Bob's been praised for his award-winning talent for decades, and it's undoubtedly true that the guy can make music, but it seems like that might be because he's been forced to be alone a lot of the time, and thus has had much time to practice, because no one really cares for the guy's sass. Those who have worked closely with him throughout the years don't have the greatest things to say about him, because apparently not only is Dylan uncomfortable being in the spotlight, but he's also simply not a very pleasant person to be around. In 2016, the singer-songwriter was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature, and the Nobel Committee knocked his attitude when he was accepting the award. Not only was Dylan rude, but he was also described as disengaged and reserved. Honestly, it sounds like this dude is just a nervous guy, and who even cares if he's old? We're all going to be one day. Anyway, that is our top 10 list of Hollywood celebrities that age like milk, which is a very mean thing to say about people who did something as involuntary as age, literally the one thing that we can't stop. But hey, some of them are also mean. Let us know if we forgot any and who your favorite was in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.